Good morning now. From calls for Ireland to pull out of their Nations League fixture against Israel to growing pressure for stricter social media rules for teenagers.
Yeah, they're just some of the issues being debated right across the country right now. So joining us live from Kilkenny to discuss them is Minister for Culture, Communications and Sport, Patrick O'Donovan. Good morning to you, Minister. Thanks so much for joining us. Lots to get through this morning, but I want to start off with you and give us the reason that you're down in Kilkenny this morning, and some major investment in the national broadband sector.
Yeah, look, good morning, Tommy, and good morning, Muireann. This morning we're marking the fact that County Kilkenny is the first county to finish the build-out of the National Broadband Plan. You'll recall that this was a plan that was brought into force by a previous Fine Gael-led government to make an intervention in the areas around the country that couldn't get good fibre broadband and good speeds because of a commercial failure. So in Kilkenny today, we're acknowledging Kilkenny County Council for their support and all the workers, the tech workers and everybody who has helped in building out the scheme, where we now have 19,000 premises that have access to high-speed broadband in County Kilkenny, and a €72 million investment. So this is the first county that's to be finished, and there's a number of others that are in quick succession behind it, like Longford, Westmeath, Waterford and others. So over the next number of months up to the end of the year, we'll finish the build out of what is a €7.2 billion investment, €2.7 billion investment by the government, with over 550,000 premises being connected right across the country. So it's a massive investment, and it's for our generation, I suppose, coming from a rural area like I do, it's the equivalent of rural electrification.
It's absolutely a game changer for so many people across the country. But of course, there's an awful lot of conversations that are going on with the internet technology and what goes there. And yesterday, your former party leader, Leo Varadkar, was sitting on our couch, and he regrets not having gone after the algorithms when he was Taoiseach, when he was the leader of this country. And we know the UK are talking about cracking down on social media bans. You've spoken about wanting to do that as well for teenagers, that we should restrict access and have our own legislation. How do you see that being enforced, Minister?
Well, my view on this hasn't changed. I've always believed, I was probably, one of the a few people who believed from the start that we could, the best way to solve this is within the European Union of 550 million people. And Taoiseach and myself, when I was being appointed as Minister for Communications, we set this out as a priority to try and get the European Union in a position where there would be a change of viewpoints within other EU member states, and that has been dramatic. In Luxembourg last week, and before that, at the informal council meeting of communications ministers in Cyprus, there has been a noticeable change by my colleague minister. So I've spent the last number of months in a bilateral basis, both with the European Commission and with other member states, basically enunciating Ireland's position, which is that in the absence of a European movement on this, we will go it alone. That would be really regrettable, I think, for the presidency of the European Council, that the holder of the office of the presidency of the European Council is basically saying that, if we can't get European movement on this after President von der Leyen's expert working group reports back, which will be in the middle of the summer, if I don't feel this is going to be treated with the level of seriousness, and the Taoiseach agrees with me on this, then we will go it alone. And I will be bringing a memorandum to government shortly around this, and I'll be laying out the options to the government, basically saying that by the time that we're halfway through Ireland's presidency, we should have clear line of sight that either the European Union as a whole are going to progress this, which I would hope that would be the case, because a child in Greece is no different to a child in Ballahaddereen, and they need the same level of protections. And I'm now assuming a European role where this is the only issue that I'm bringing to the table, and I've told the Council and the Commission that the only priority that I am bringing forward is the protection of children online. But if I don't feel that there's that level of cohesion within the European Commission and the Council and the Parliament to get this through, then I reserve the right to bring forward our own proposals in the Oireachtas in Dublin.
OK, well, we will stay tuned to see how that is rolled out as well. Listen, I'm sure you're a busy man. You're probably maybe trying to catch up on the World Cup at the minute, but obviously in football stories closer to Ireland at the minute, there's huge talk about this game between the Republic of Ireland and Israel. The Dáil have recently rejected calls to prevent Ireland from playing against Israel. What's your take on this? Do you believe that we should separate sport and politics Or do you believe what so many people and so many supporters are saying, that this game shouldn't go ahead?
Well, look, first of all, the FAI attempted earlier on with a UEFA motion to try and get this issue shoved up the agenda, and that was roundly rejected by UEFA associations. You know, the governance of football is vested in football associations. They're independent of government. National governing bodies of sport are independent of government for good reason. That, you know, politicians don't get involved in team selections, or they don't get involved in scheduling matches or anything of that nature. And UEFA and FIFA is a rules-based system. Now, the Irish did try to get this changed by way of exclusion, but that didn't work. So then, not fulfilling the fixture leaves the FAI as the big loser. They lose automatically up to 6 points, and there's also other penalties. And ironically, you know, the country that people might feel should be the ones here that would be punished would be the ones that would be the ultimate gains. And as I said last week on a number of media outlets, Tommy, I mean, like, where do people believe that this should end? I mean, Ireland is going to host, as part of a group of nations, Euro 2028. If Israel qualify for that and they're drawn in a group that plays in Dublin, are the opposition seriously suggesting that that we should forfeit the position of being able to host Euro 2028? Or indeed, because Israel are participating in the Olympic Games, are they suggesting that Ireland should withdraw from the Olympics and the Paralympics? So I mean, the natural conclusion of this is that we would be in very quickly in an unsustainable position, and I've made it very clear on behalf of the government that whatever the position that has been taken by the FAI within a rules-based system which is laid down by FIFA and UEFA, and we mightn't like it, but that's the reality, the same as it is in rugby, that, you know, they have to play by the rules that are laid down. I mean, we've even seen, you know, a lot of people are bemoaning the fact that these water breaks have been introduced into matches at the moment, and, you know, people have various different views on that, particularly when you're looking at air-conditioned stadiums and why they're being introduced at all. But look, it's a rules-based system. Ireland, unfortunately, didn't qualify for this World Cup, but hopefully it'll qualify for the Euros. But can you imagine a situation if, for instance, Israel is drawn in a group that's to play at home in Dublin? Are the opposition seriously saying that we should cancel Euro 2028 in Dublin? Because that's what the natural conclusion of this would be.
We'll see what happens with that, because obviously Sweden's FA wants to talk about what's going on with FIFA after the World Cup. You were on the front of the Irish Times today, Minister. You don't look very bruised, but it says that you have clashed with An Post over the chief's pay package. There's a new chief that's coming in to An Post very soon, Fergal Leamy, and they say that they want to increase his pay package to €360,000 to be in line with what happens in the private sector, but you will not increase it. Currently it stands at €250,000 for Dave McRegmond, and you've agreed to increase it to €270,000. Is there an impasse happening between you and An Post, and will there not be a chief executive in place in a few weeks?
No, there's no impasse between me and An Post. I'm the shareholder of the company, and a very good relationship indeed. I only met the chairman of the company yesterday, and look, An Post have done a really good job in a very difficult market. We've seen, for instance, in Denmark, being the first country in the world to opt out of mail delivery. An Post is an integral part of our community, whether it's here in Kilkenny or anywhere else across the country. And you know, we have men and women out delivering mail, as I say, as I speak at the moment. So An Post is a really good company, but we are in discussions together with our colleagues in the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform and the board of An Post with regard to remuneration. I don't think that that's any secret, and I think that that issue will be resolved fairly quickly, but I don't think it would be fair for me, given that the board are currently in discussions with a potential candidate for the position of the Chief Executive Officer of the company, for me to comment on any numbers, but all of that will become apparent once they have made an appointment.
Minister of Culture, Communications and Sport, Patrick O'Donovan, thank you for joining us from Kilkenny this morning.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Minister. And great to see Broadband getting right around the country as well. People
brilliant.
of Kilkenny will be absolutely delighted with that. Always great to catch up with the Minister. Lots still to come after this short break.